Yay! Yay!
We laugh. We laugh in this.
I gotta bring the air horn back. Happy
I
Monday. What's up, Vanna? How you? I feel like you ain't been here for a while. It could be me. How
no,
you doing, girl? How you doing?
it do
It's
feel like that. Do you feel the do you hear the echo? Okay. It do feels like I have not been here for a while. I agree with you. Cause I was just saying, like, dang, was it 7 o'clock? Is it 8 o'clock? Wait, what? Yeah, it's been a minute. But you've been having all these great guests. So I don't think I've been missed that much. So shout out to you and all the guests you have on the show. So but I'm glad to be back though to talk about what's happening.
uh,
What's
we're gonna.
happening? Local
We,
government.
I know we finna get into this, y'all. That's
Fun
all I gotta
times.
say.
Local government.
It's blessed. Um,
Say bless it.
blessed, blessed. Um, we gonna get into it because I know we run a little bit behind.
Yes. Shout out to me and my Miss
So
Georgia.
no, it's fine. It's fine. It's hey, life happens. Life
Girl,
happens.
life be life.
So yes, life be life. And speaking of, we're gonna start with some city highlights too. We
Shout
got
out to the city folks.
so I wanted to let folks know first off, if you've never heard of the Planning Commission in the city of St. Louis, please do not sleep on it. When I get a chance to, I try to listen to their meetings because that's how I learn about all the upcoming development, different development plans, like all those things. It comes before the Planning Commission first, before it heads to the full board of aldermen. So I know y'all life be life, but I be trying to peep these because that's when I found out about all the stuff going on. So speaking of the Planning Commission, so they had their meeting, and they have these meetings every month on Wednesday evenings at like 5:30, I think, on Zoom, or whatever, YouTube, whatever. And but I peeped this meeting last week, as there is a proposed rezoning request in the heart of North City. And so, for people that aren't aware, first off, zoning. What is zoning? So, for people that don't know, zoning means basically it's how a city or municipality, how they determine what a property can and cannot be used for, right? And a lot of these things that come before the Planning Commission are what are called rezonings, right? Proposed rezoning. So typically this is when a developer, they got this land and they like, yo, we really want to use it, a mixed use development, for instance, which this is what we getting into now, but a mixed use development with housing and apartments and maybe a grocery store, retail, whatever. But currently that area, the zoning doesn't allow for those uses in that space. So again, the rezoning is so the developer can say, hey, let's get the zoning changed to allow for this new type of use with this building. So that's what we have before us today. And again, I wanted to lift this up because, like I said, this is on the north side. So I want to play this clip. This is Alexa Seda. She's a senior planner for our city's planning department. And she kind of provides an overview of this proposed rezoning. So we're going to get into this clip.
So the proposed rezoning site is just under an acre and a half and is located in the 12th ward that will encompass a mixed-use development that includes a grocery store on the ground floor level and age-restricted housing. We do have petitioners Yasset El Amin and others representing Field Place LP who can assist with any questions you may have and will also give a brief presentation a little later. Please go to the next slide. Thank you. Furthermore, at the site, the Planning Commission has reviewed and approved 2 redevelopment plans. One was in 2017 and the other in 2019, in which this project would have to comply with what's in that plan or in the redevelopment plans. Next slide. So these next slides will illustrate what will be at the proposed rezoning site. So here At the intersection of Clarence and Natural Bridge, there will be a rendering, or this is the rendering of the 4-story building that would include Field Foods grocery store on the ground floor. And then on the upper 3 floors, there will be approximately 50 age-restricted units. Next slide. Here we see the second phase of the project, which also includes another building, which will be 3 stories in height and will include approximately 40 age-restricted units. So just to kind of provide some context, what you see outlined in yellow is the entire proposed development site, and it's also near Fairground Park, and that's the linear line you see, that is all of Natural Bridge. So this is just kind of like an overview of that.
So again, people, y'all can go on YouTube. It wasn't like a super long or drawn out presentation, but y'all can go and look at everything, all the documents, because the screen's kind of small. So y'all can check it out for yourselves. But again, this is just off of Natural Bridge. Again, this mixed use development will have Fields Foods, which is a grocery store, on the ground floor, and then it will have senior housing above it. So what you thinking, Vanna? You muted.
And I'm just talking. I was out here just
I'm like, oh girl, no.
She sounds like she's saying it's near Fairground, right? So would it be like next to Fairground? So I don't know. I'm just trying to picture what that would look like on Natural Bridge in that area. Cause I mean, it's so, I don't know. That area is so, which they have nothing over there, so that's a good thing that they're building a grocery store, because there is literally no grocery stores in that space. But I'm just trying to picture what it would look like. Senior housing, I don't know. It's interesting. But I knew it was coming because shout out to how they did that street in those roundabouts over there. So I knew something was coming, but I don't know. I'm interested in seeing how this goes. And it seems like it's been in plan for a while, so.
And I mean, so again, like, I feel like, people are like, oh man, it's just vacation, man. It's no. But like, what do we have there right now?
We don't have anything. There is nothing there.
So
I don't know.
I'm really interested. I'm really excited to see, how this materializes. And I'm just talking. So the Planning Commission, y'all, they did approve this proposal for the rezoning. So it will move on for our full Volunteer members eventually, for them to give their official stamps of approval. But I'm interested to see how this materializes, and also just
beneficial will be to the community,
right. And we're talking about Fields Foods. Like I said, I would just be curious to kind of know what that's given, what that grocery store is given, because I know a little bit about it, but as far as making sure that, and I know there's nothing there, but obviously we hope that this really benefits the needs of the community there, for sure.
Exactly.
For sure. So next thing, last highlight of the city to share it, and the rest of the time we're gonna talk about your county people, man. But y'all, budget hearings. And I know we talked about this weeks ago. The city of St. Louis, they are in the thick of budget season, y'all. I know we, like people talking about these playoff games and NBA and stuff. So that's basically what we at right now at the city of St. Louis with the budget, y'all. So the budget and public employees committee meeting, they are meeting Monday through Thursday. Y'all, I listened to some of the meeting today. I got to go back and listen to the rest of it. But they're having these meetings Monday through Thursday at 9:30 a.m. So you all can check them out on YouTube. Obviously, if you can't catch all of them, it's understandable. But I find these meetings very eye-opening and enlightening, because I was listening to one meeting. Obviously, this was a while ago, but former Board of Alderman president, Louis Reed, he was mentioning how he was like, man, I hope we can really get a color copy machine with the Board of Alderman. And I was like, what the hell? So I've learned a lot.
They have no color copy? Wow.
I've learned a lot. I have learned a lot about these budget hearings and what departments, like what their capacities are and their needs. So I always tell people, man, listen to it, and you can go on the city's website with agendas because they'll tell you what departments will be talking about their proposed budgets. So if people have the time, please head to the City of St. Louis's website. I'll be sure to provide a link where you can find out where the meetings are held to listen to some of these departments and they budget.
Are you telling me if all the person wanted to print a color copy flyer, they have to go to Kinko's or something to get a color copy? Okay.
I went to a real quick, we're gonna get in the counting thing, but I attended a Board of Alderman meeting. This is before the new session officially started, and there was a recess for over 2 hours because there were some bills that were being introduced because they're trying to get this stuff in before the session ended, and they had to print out all of this stuff. They only had one copy machine, I think, and it kept getting jammed. So I'm telling y'all this right now. This is when we're talking about a lot of the services or lack of quality of services that we don't receive, you really have to think about how our city governments, how they're structured, the access or lack of access to technology that they don't have. I mean, I'm just saying, y'all,
That's
like
crazy.
Eye-opening listening to some of these because I'll be like, damn. This is what we got to do. This is what we got to work with. So
that's crazy. So inefficient. But shout out to y'all at 9:30 in the morning, though. I'm sorry, that's just early. 9:30, Kelly. Not my baby don't go to school till 9:05. Doors don't open till 9:05.
They got to get this work in because the Board of Aldermen, they have to approve the budget by the end of June, and we in the middle of May now. You blink, it's gonna be
June in a minute.
So time is ticking.
That's crazy.
So yes, St. Louis County. You ready? You ready for this? So
special folks, St. Louis County.
So the first highlight, during their committee of the whole meeting last week, the St. Louis County Council, they discussed a bill. I believe it is bill number 73. I think that's the bill number. Introduced by Councilwoman Shalonda Webb. And if passed, this bill, so there was already something, an amendment made and approved by the County Council in 2019 regulating certain requirements that folks that sell tobacco-related products, they have to abide by. And one of those requirements was that they had to be at least 1,000 feet from a school. So bill number 73, if passed, would eliminate that requirement. So y'all know I'm a clip queen. I know we got a lot of clips, but this meeting was over 2 hours long. Over 2 hours long. The clips clearly ain't gonna be 2 hours, but I just y'all gotta hear this. What's going on? So the first clip is Dr. Cunningham. She is the director of the health department. Whew, shout out to her. A lot of these folks doing the work and handling these grillings. But with grace.
She is. She stepped in and really I feel like been doing what she needs. What I feel like needs to be done in a sense. So shout out to her.
It's not easy. So I wanted to share this clip with you all as she kind of lays out when we're talking about these businesses that sell tobacco products, like where they're located. And where they're located. So we're gonna play this clip here.
These next two slides, I definitely want to point your attention to these maps and kind of talk a little bit about the impact that changing this bill will have and which communities will be affected. So as it stands today in St. Louis County, we have 757 tobacco establishments in St. Louis County. They're more heavily concentrated in neighborhoods that are on average our Black and Brown communities, in our lower income neighborhoods as well. So as you can see that the predominant density of tobacco establishments are in the outer and inner north areas. And then following behind that is the pocket down in South County. So this is our current existence as of today of how many tobacco establishments that we have. Point of sale advertising and promotions tend to be more common in these neighborhoods. So these are advertising 2-for-1 discounts to individuals as they go past. They also target not only our youth, but also our women, especially our pregnant women as well. With this next slide, and this is one of the issues that I would like for us to really focus on, is that out of those 757 tobacco establishments, we have 164 of those still remaining within 1,000 feet of school property. If you can see the red dots, those are tobacco establishments that have been cited for selling cigarettes to underage kids, cigarettes and chewing tobacco. If you look at all of the dots, those represent the 164 tobacco establishments that are still located within 1,000 feet of school. As you can see, that this is predominantly located in North County, so outer north and inner north. So 31% of those are in those citations are in inner north region, and 25% are in outer north region. And then we have a few that's kind of scattered going towards the border with it's technically in Clayton, but it's still close to inner north. But I want to point out that in outer north and North County, these are predominantly our Black neighborhoods. And unfortunately, if I pull up a map where tobacco density, where we have a higher prevalence of tobacco smokers, unfortunately is also in North County as well.
So
that's interesting. 757 and then 160 something roughly is still within the feet of schools. That's a lot. And I'm assuming it's county because, I was just thinking like, where are all these spaces? But I mean, every gas station sells, Walgreens, Snooks. Well, I don't know if all the Snooks still sell cigarettes. I know some of them might do. Family Dollar Store now sells. So I was just thinking like, dang, 700 sounds like a lot in just North County. And so I started to think like, no, everywhere you go.
Well, it's 700 throughout the county.
North County.
All of St. Louis, in all of St. Louis County.
Okay, so St. Louis, South County, and all that.
But but they're concentrated in North
County, right? So majority of them are and you go back to the Family Dollars, the Walgreens, Dollar Generals. They sell as much as the liquor stores. So that's why I'm like, you still naming about 10 stores on one street that can sell cigarettes. So interesting.
And again, the places that were cited for selling to, you know what I'm saying?
Minors. Yeah, selling to minors.
Most of those citations, obviously, concentrated in North County.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And again, this is related to the liquor stuff. So, I mean, because most places that sell tobacco products also sell liquor.
Yeah, yep.
More about that, but we're gonna keep it rolling because I got some more clips for y'all. So that was the first clip, and then I want to play this next clip again. Dr. Cunningham, she literally lays out what will happen if this bill is passed. So listen to her thoughts.
So Bill number 73, it walks back a major component of 2019 amendments by allowing existing tobacco retailers within 1,000 feet of school property to transfer their permits to new owners. So this would allow, so instead of phasing out tobacco retailers, new schools or businesses or change owners, If we did remove this, this would allow the density of tobacco retailers near schools to remain stable over time. So one of the major reasons why we did this is because it provides a barrier, a buffer, and the way that we can regulate this is the same way we regulate liquor stores as well as kratom stores in our communities. So I do hope that you all take this into consideration as we continue to have this discussion about Bill 73, thinking about the impact on our community and which communities specifically who will be impacted. And again, I do want to repeat that if we do remove this, we will be impacting our youth throughout St. Louis County, but specifically our Black youth in North County if this was to be removed.
So Dr. Cunningham, she's explicitly stated this multiple ways on who this will really impact. Okay.
She dropped her receipts. I mean, that's real though. Ain't like it's not, she just making that stuff up. Clearly. That's interesting. This is an interesting process. Like, why are we even, my question is, why is it even being introduced? Like, I really want to know that. Like, why are we talking about taking it away? What is it going to bring forward, except for what she's saying? More of these spaces. And why do we need more? What's the benefit of our communities getting more of these spaces? So interesting.
It's a revenue. Like I feel like that has to be part of it. I hate to say
it's gonna generate money.
I feel like a lot of these decisions, and I don't agree with it, but I feel like that's part of it. But we gonna get into it. So this next clip, because I want people to understand when we're talking about the businesses that are being cited or whatever. Let's say if you got caught, right, selling tobacco to a minor, what is that penalty? What happens to businesses when they get cited? So I want to play this exchange between Dr. Cunningham and I think this is Councilman, and Councilman Tracus. Because I want people to understand what penalties businesses have to face when they get cited.
So with the first citation, again, it goes to the clerk as well as the owner, is $500. If the fine is not paid within 60 days, a copy of the citation is sent to the courts and then a court appearance is scheduled. But again, they can pay that before it gets to the courts. A fine of no less than $500 for the first violation within a 3-year period. A fine of no less than $750 for a second violation within a 3-year period. Then a fine of $1,000 for any additional violations within a 3-year period.
Right. And of course, this is just curious if on the number that you found that they didn't make the sale, do you go back and check a second and a third time?
That's the number I would need to get how many times we go back to the same establishment.
And the same thing would be true for this establishment that you cited the first time? Do you go back and check a second and a third and a fourth time, or you just don't have the staff for that?
Right. So I'm told that they have went back a second time, but I would need to get the exact data as to if a business was cited, how many times do they go back and do another compliance check? That I would need to check. I'm just verbally told that they will go back and check again if this is a business.
I'd like to know if they ever go back and how often that is.
Okay.
Y'all heard it. Those are the penalties. And I also want to lift up, and there's another clip. I didn't play it because I didn't want to overclip y'all to death. But there was a discussion about these compliance checks when these folks are cited, what's that's given. And again, if we're talking about over 700 of these establishments in St. Louis County, not all 700 of them receive these compliance checks. There is a process how they determine, what that gives. So I also want to lift that up as well. So it's a lot there when we're talking about not only just the penalties, but and compliance, what that means, but the enforcement of that compliance. And y'all know we short staff everywhere. Okay. So
So you know the health department is.
I'm gonna be quiet. Do not egg me on yet. Yeah, I'm gonna be quiet about that. So again, y'all, I'm keeping this rolling because this was a good question. This was a million dollar question because each of these establishments, y'all, they have to be renewed in
Wow.
order to sell tobacco. Their license for it has to be renewed. So this is the $1 million question that Councilman Hancock asked when we're talking about what this renewal, what is given, what the process is given.
If an establishment has been cited multiple times over the course of a year, would that be considered as part of their license renewal? Or is there no provision at all for?
Yeah, that's not a provision of the renewal. So that's not part of the renewal process.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
So even if they do get these citations, y'all, that's not even part of the renewal process.
That seems so crazy though. Like, why wouldn't that be? Why wouldn't it? Like that, you are getting citations for selling cigarettes to minors. We're not going to include that in your licensure. Isn't that against the law?
Yeah, I mean it is. So I guess this is hopefully, and I want to lift this up because I don't want this to be conveyed as us throwing the health department under the bus. We are not.
Definitely not throwing the health department under the bus. We pray for y'all out there at the health department.
Yes. But I do want to lift up. I know that is wild. That is wild. But I do want to lift up because this is similar to, and Vanna knows, when I was part of an awesome effort working alongside North County residents around the liquor license mess. Because this is literally damn near the same thing, y'all. And when we had the conversations with folks that worked at the health department and with zoning and public works, y'all, literally, these folks, they do what's within their authority. And what authority do they have? Is through ordinance. It's through policies that who passes? You guessed it, the St. Louis County Council passes. So hopefully through this conversation, we got some light bulb moments going off within the county council to really figure out how can they tweak some of these processes. Because again, the health department and other departments, when they do these compliance checks, they can only do so much. They have to stay within what they legally can. You know what I'm saying? So I want people to, again, I don't want people to think that we're throwing the health department under the bus here because they're doing what they
can at that capacity as well. So, and then for you to, I mean, personally, I think it backtracks. It's like you're telling them to move forward and apply pressure to these spaces, but then now you're taking something back that can also help them keep people in compliance.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so it's kind of.
I know.
If it is.
So we almost done with these clips, but I did want to lift up Councilwoman Webb. She kind of pulled everything together after, because again, y'all, this meeting was over 2 hours long. Okay, over 2 hours long. So she kind of, I wanted to play this clip because she kind of summed up a lot of the thoughts and what some of her fellow council members, kind of what their thoughts were about the issue. So listen to what she had to say.
I feel like we have some enforcement challenges here. And I feel that those enforcement challenges, even though we have an opportunity for them to get on the right track, there's also an opportunity for them to escape the system, right? Because you get to start over new every 3 years. And so, especially for those that's in the 1,000 feet parameter, there should be more stringent enforcement and compliance, right? We've already made grandfather them in so that they can continue to sell. But if you are in violation, um, even in baseball, you get 3 strikes. You get 3 years every 3 years. And so I do believe we have an opportunity here to make the enforcement more stringent. And then also specifically for those within those 1,000 feet. Again, that's separate. The enforcement is separate from allowing the transfer with the property of the licensing. So I just want to make sure I'm clear here because I'm not setting an agenda. I'm just saying my observation is the fact that enforcement needs some help. And I understand staffing commitments. I understand that totally. But even with the renewal process, if you have been in violation, there should be some provisions in there to say, hey, you've not upheld your end of the bargain. You have violated repeatedly. And based on that, we should be able to revoke your license, even revoking your renewal. So something I'm very interested in. So we'll definitely be following up.
So hopefully something good comes from this. Hopefully they take this back to the drawing board and really think of how they can be impactful of enforcing and making sure that this stuff is limited so it doesn't overpopulate in our communities. Because I would be sad to see that. As a parent, I don't want liquor stores and things around my children. And you got to think, Kelly, a lot of school districts in, I'm sure the city has it too, I don't know, but a lot of school districts in the county, they walk, right? They're not bused for real. So it's like, I don't want my kids having to navigate around those type of environments. And then let alone going in there and just buying it. Clearly, some of them are, so I just think we need to definitely go back to the drawing board on this one and really think strategically how we can make sure that those spaces are, if they need to be available for people, that they're available, they're not oversaturated, and that they're doing what they're supposed to do, selling to adults. And it's done responsibly and respectfully to the community. So
yes, and legally.
Legal.
So
Yes.
And like I agree with you on all of that. And it's funny, obviously, we're talking about these schools and these babies. So as I told y'all, this meeting was over 2 hours long. And comments and stuff, sometimes some of these meetings I listen to it while I'm doing whatever I'm doing. And during this meeting, there were quite a few public speakers, all of which business owners, whose businesses sell tobacco products. So y'all already know what they was on. They was like, yeah, in favor of that rollback. So sorry, bless it. But I wanted to play this clip because sometimes I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone, especially these days. I really do feel like we are in the Twilight Zone. But I wanted to play this clip. So this brother, I believe his name is Mr. Timothy Amar. He is a business owner in Bonita Park. So I wanted to play this clip, and then Vanna, I want to get your thoughts on this because this right here, I almost choked when I was drinking my water, listening to this. So,
oh Lord,
let's hear what he had to say.
As far as trying to get to understand about the licensing and everything, I went through Bonita Park and we asked all the questions. Can we get licensed? What we need to do to get licenses and everything like that. They said, well, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do this. Everything was told that we needed to do. Nobody said anything about St. Louis County Health Department. Nobody. We have a liquor license and tobacco license. We've been selling alcohol and tobacco since June. I'm less than 1,000 yards from the school. We just got a license last year. I don't understand how we was able to even get a license to start selling the product. And now they come in last week and tell us that we can't sell. But we've been having a license since June. We just applied to get reinstated last month. So now they come in and tell us we can't sell cigarettes. But we've been selling cigarettes from day one. How do we even get licensed?
I'm sorry, sir. And I shouldn't interrupt you speaking, and it's definitely out of order. Are you telling me that we gave you a liquor license and a tobacco license and you are 1,000 feet from a school?
That's exactly what I'm saying. I'm telling you that I've been selling.
And you didn't go through the county, you went through?
Went through Vanita Park, I went to the
Park.
county, I went through every step that I thought I needed to take to obtain licenses. We went. No one sent us there, but we got licenses on our wall. Somebody came in the other day and said, "Hey, you don't have a health event. You got to shut you down." We ain't understanding that. We got cigarettes, alcohol, lottery. We got everything. We didn't do any of this. And then also, before we even got the license, we had to have a meeting with Vanita Park to even get grandfathered in because we bought the building. It was already a liquor store. They're like, "Well, we can't get you in there right now. We got to have a board meeting." So I had a board meeting with all the people who was on the TV, and they all approved for us to have this license for us to even go apply for a license. So that was the due diligence that we did before we even went and tried to get it.
Yes, sir, I'm tracking.
So
Okay.
we went on ahead and we did that, and we, mayor, everybody, we approve. 6 months probation, as us have a liquor license and sell tobacco in Vanita Park. A 6-month probation. We made it through the 6-month probation, and then, like I said, someone just come in and just all of a sudden say, "Hey, you got a couple of days." So we didn't think it was no big deal. So they came in, I said, "Okay, I'll be right on over there, $125. We didn't think it was nothing. We thought we was good. So we go over there and they show us this demographic, this thing, tell us, "You in this little gray area, you can't have a license. We can't give you that." How are we in with a license already?
Wow. Yeah, go back to the drawing board, y'all. I mean, this contradicts everything. It just contradicts everything. In the area that he's talking about.
In the area that he's talking about
is literally right behind,
like, because he literally and the dialogue continued because his business sits in the first county council district. That's Councilwoman Days' area, and that's Washington School. And I know, like, when she was like, "Oh yeah, this is Washington School," and if y'all are familiar with that area, that's Page and
Hanley,
yeah,
like Hanley Hills, Page, yep.
Y'all, that area literally behind the school.
Mm-hmm.
This is all. There are like multiple of these establishments selling liquor tobacco.
It's a gas station right across the street.
Right.
I grew up in Hanley Hills, Normandy. Yeah. So, but I agree with what his statement was. Like, how did I even get one if I wasn't supposed to have one?
Like, yeah, and then that's a lawsuit.
You just don't come in and say, "Oops,
that is a lawsuit." Like,
take this back.
That is not good because you can't grant it and then be like, "Oh no, you ain't supposed to have it" after the fact.
What is
not?
And again, so to think for me thinking, because again, like, what is the process? And talking about how we always talk about how there's no communication or no pipeline in these spaces. Because okay, some folks, like to blame other people. Anyway, so let's just say he did go to, Vanita Park, and he got his license. Did Vanita Park reach out to St. Louis County? Like, does Vita Park have some different stimulations than St. Louis County? Is that possible? Because, Kelly, we talked about that too. Like, sometimes when we have these folks that's in these seats, they don't really know the processes, and they're just trying to do the work, and they don't really know. They're not aligned with what's above them, and it's levels to this stuff. So, like, the state has a law and a regulation, okay? Then the city, then St. Louis County has a law and the regulations, and then each of these municipalities in North County got a law and a regulation. So it could align differently. So he could be in sync with, Vanita Park. I don't know. I'm just saying, but not in St. Louis County. So I just think, like, how do we stop having all of these different spaces, and how they, again, or the pipeline? How are you saying, like, okay, St. Louis County says this is their max. Okay, how do we go under that and say, okay, this is our max? But it can't outmax what St. Louis County has, or it can't outmax what the state has. I think that needs to be a process within our local government, and I feel like we miss that a lot. So that's why we get stuff like this.
It's too many damn municipalities. I'm sorry.
St. Louis County has a lot of municipalities.
So I think
In the North County, because South County is mostly unincorporated, right?
yeah.
So North County is very much
So
overpopulated with.
so hopefully, because again, this just brings back again deja vu when we were doing the things around the liquor stores and the packaged liquor licenses that these businesses get. Literally, this is the same thing that we ran up against as far as streamlining those processes. Is there some type of coordination that can take place? Obviously, we know that these establishments, we've seen the receipts. And again, these places that sell tobacco more than likely sell drink too, liquor too.
Yeah.
So we know that they're heavily concentrated in North County. So how can we work again to address that issue from a comprehensive standpoint instead of piecemealing it? So hopefully this is a start in them really taking a step back to look at the process from a holistic perspective. And how can unpopular opinion here, but also when we're talking about our North County fam, shout out to North County, my fam in the different municipalities, how can there be some type of
Collaboration, working
right.
together.
I'm just gonna put that out there. I know I'm preaching to the choir right here.
That's what we all about, right?
I mean, I'm just saying, y'all, like, can we work this out? Because it's not really helping. And honestly, like, who knows? I'm sure this is probably just the tip of the iceberg. When we're talking about, let's just keep it a buck. This may be, he's coming forward, this business owner, shout out to, he's coming forward talking about this issue, but I'm sure he's coming forward because
he just got started.
Exactly. Like, what I'm saying? They can't sell their product. They can't push their product. So, but maybe I'm sure there are other businesses that are able to kind of, get around some of this stuff, as Councilwoman Webb mentioned. Sometimes people, they find their ways around things when they need to.
Yeah, they will if they have to. Which, again, who fault is it really? Is it his fault? I don't know. I don't think so. I think he was caught in the crossfire. I don't think it was his fault. I agree with the wholeheartedly. Like, how did y'all not prevent this before? And like I said, I don't know when this situation started, but I grew up in that area. I'm very familiar with that school, and it's always been a liquor store right there. Do that Family Dollar store sell liquor and cigarettes? I would be curious to know.
I wouldn't be, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised either. I would be so curious. Look, you might make me go ride up over there some more.
But I want to lift this up because this same issue, again, these are things that we are talking about within the city of St. Louis too. I think I mentioned this during last week's Monday Night Live, that the city of St. Louis, they've established a new special committee called the Special Committee on Red Tape. Literally, that's the name of the committee. I'm not making it up. And so they're looking to figure out how to streamline a lot of these processes with new businesses looking to open up in the city and all of that. And there was a lot of talk about that, the new committee, and what role it will play when we're talking about addressing problem businesses and problem properties, especially those that sell liquor. And we're not talking about a restaurant, you know what I'm saying? Or
right, like different than a restaurant.
We talk about a liquor store. Okay. And we know what that's given in because our communities are oversaturated with them. So people are having these conversations on how to deal with these types of businesses comprehensively. So hopefully, this kind of jump starts like a real effort in addressing that. We'll see.
We shall see. This is really an interesting thing. So hopefully something, again, positive comes out of this hiccup.
Yeah, and people, so people that live in the county and North County, please feel free to reach out to your county council members and other folks that represent you to have these conversations. Because we need those combos. So I did want to share that this bill is it was up for final passage last week, and it was held for them to kind of again really reconsider how to move forward with this. So again, they could have passed it, but they didn't pass it last week. So hopefully the council are able to work together with the health department and other folks when it comes to this issue. So to be continued, y'all.
To be continued.
Speaking of to be continued, we talked about some interesting bills last week in St. Louis County. St. Louis County, y'all are woo, bless it, bless it. So there were two bills I know we talked about last week. The first was Bill number 53, and this was around updating the Indoor Clean Air Act. It was controversial because the casinos ain't trying to have their gaming places be smoke free, okay? Because St. Louis County broke and they don't want the business to go elsewhere. So Bill 53 was held on the perfection order of business. So I'm sure this is not the last we will hear about that bill. And then also, Bill number 86 had some interesting conversations about this one after last week. Um, this was Councilman Tracus's bill looking to address public safety, his words, regarding pedestrians. And so this bill, it was on the final passage order of business, but it was held. And Councilman Tracus said during the meeting that there will be a substitute bill tomorrow during their meeting. So
That's interesting. I wonder what's the difference.
I just hope it includes the recommendations that St. Louis County Council, the report they paid for with recommendations. Hopefully the report was looked at.
Hopefully.
We shall see. But again, y'all, please feel free if you have any thoughts, questions, concerns, feel free to reach out to your county council person. Hell, you don't even have to reach out to one of them. It's 7 of them. Reach out to all 7 of them if you need to.
I need to reach out to some people.
Why the hell not?
I should reach out to some people.
Bless it. Bless it. Bless it. So Vanna, do you have any special announcements? I know that was I just be dropping. It's like every time I be out here, I just be boom, boom. You know,
you do, Kelly. You be like, this is what's happening, and it'd be like, oh God, it's another fire. That's a fire. That's a fire. That's a fire. We're burning. We're burning.
I'm sorry.
Thank you so with the fires, Lord. No.
But I will
be aware though. It's very much be aware, and I agree. It's like finding ways to just reach out to these people, and just having the conversations about and uplifting what you feel needs to be, like how it needs to be changed, done, all of that. So kudos to you for those meetings and tapping into that space.
But I did want to share, even with some of these bills, some of which have been a bit controversial, it seems like the council people, they've expressed that because they've heard from various organizations or their constituents or residents, they were like, you know what? Let's hold on this. Let's wait for a bit. So it does matter, and it does help when you are able to, be able to reach out and express your concerns. So I did at least want to lift that up, because some of these bills I'm like, woo, Lord, help us, bless us. But they seem open. These legislators, they seem open to hearing the concerns of the people and really figuring out how can we meet and compromise. So,
well, that's good. That's great to know, because that's what we need. Yes, to engage with community and let community know what you're trying to do and how it would impact them.
That part.
I'm just saying
how it will impact them.
Yes.
So, Vanna, what you got going on, girl? Any special, any announcements?
Other than shout out to the Hood Talks podcast, our last show of the season is next month, June 3rd. We talking white people-ish or no. Yeah, health culture, wealth in the Black community. and just talking about how we can better benefit from some of those things that we say are white people ish, and they're really not. They're just health culture. And we need to think on more healthier alternatives and healthier ways to make sure that we're thriving. So it ain't white people ish, it's that we deserve. So
That
we
part.
tap in. Yep. So yeah, definitely yeah, tap in and reach out because we actually do need some more guests. We still got time, so reach out to me. Um, info@thehoodconnect.org. Always, you can hit me up on Instagram or Facebook, The Hood Talks Podcast. That's with the DA as well. Yeah, that's it for real. I know you're
And
gonna talk
when
about
is your show? When are your shows again?
so this show will be the last show of the season. Woo! Season 3, we made it through. So it will be June 3rd. That's the first Saturday of June. That's when that one is dropping. So I'm excited. Excited. And we made it through another season. Shout out to everybody that's been tapping into the Hood Talks podcast. All the support. I'm super excited. We made it through another year, and I can't wait till we come back next season bigger, better, and definitely stronger. So
Yay! Kudos to you. Kudos. Three seasons. Woo.
I know, right? We've been in the game for a while. We've been pushing.
No, y'all are shooting Tyler's age, like in that past Tyler age.
I know it's my baby about to be 3, so it's about the same. Yeah,
Look at that.
she about to be 3, so we'll be 3 fully in December. So yep, 3 years in the game.
Damn.
In December. So yep, and she was born in June. So drop the baby and drop the podcast, and we've
Look
been
at that.
going ever since.
Look at that.
Yeah. But shout out to the community though.
Shout out to the community. Oh Lord, speaking community. Transform 314, y'all. We kind of been out here a little bit there, trying to do what we can, what we got. So we have a community meetup at the Sumner High School. No shade to my Vashon folks, Beaumont, anybody else. But we will be at the Sumner High School. Shout out to the Sumner Studio Lab folks that kind of helped to partner to bring about this workshop. But y'all know how we do with these community meetups. So we will be talking about what do our elected officials really do. And so we had this conversation at the Julia Davis Library, and it was just, so hot. It was so hot. People really enjoyed it. So we are bringing it back by popular demand on Wednesday, May 24th, 6 p.m. at the Annex building of Sumner High School. So please be sure, register, because we feeding folks. And we need to know you coming to make sure we got enough food. So please register on Eventbrite. Do the damn thing. It's free. And we might have some little goodies and stuff too. And as far as elected officials, you never know who may be in the building. So we'll probably drop some of that information leading up to the event. So it should be a great conversation. And then of course, me, the homie Vanna. Shout out to AP. Y'all know how we do every month. We're kicking it for a cause. So that's the next day, Thursday, May 25th. We will be at Exodus Art Gallery again. Doors open at 6, and we will be talking about, how can we really address gun violence, because it's wild out here. So we will be having an interesting conversation with special guests, providing resources on what's going on and how we can really improve this situation, because it's real out here. Please register on Eventbrite as well, because y'all know we be feeding people, and again, we got to have a head count.
Yeah.
And when we have harvests, people be mad when ain't enough food.
Tickets are actually going fast, so y'all better go grab them, man.
Y'all better grab them. I
predict it'll be sold out by next week.
Y'all better do it, because somebody's like, man, y'all, is it sold out? I can't register. Register today. Don't wait until the day before. Do it now. Get it over with. So you got a spot.
Yes. Tap in. Tap in. Tap, tap, tap in. Tap, tap, tap in.
I know. So, well, thank you again, Vanna, for yet another enlightening conversation. And to everybody out there, we had quite a few people joining us live. So shout out to y'all. And y'all know I'll be at the same place, same time next week. So please see y'all next week. Stay safe until then, and we'll talk soon.
Yeah, shout out. Happy Mother's Day to all the mamas out there.
Yeah, happy Mother's Day. Duh.
Shout out to y'all. Keep
So-
your head up.
Bless y'all and keep your head up.
I know.
But yeah, y'all stay safe out there and see y'all next week. Peace.